like evolution is when two parts come together and form a larger whole. Like that's the whole evolutionary process is all about that. From subatomic particles coming together to form an atom, right? All the way up, right? It's just kind of when parts come together and form more complex, more intimate, more interconnected wholes, we get evolution. And so when you have two friends coming together, an ecotherapist and a coach, then we have something that we can birth together.
There's been a real severing to our connection with nature, or just our understanding that we are nature and we are part of it, and we have an integral part of the whole in the ecosystem. And so a lot of cultures around the world and a lot of indigenous peoples are very much still like aligned with this and understand this as just normal. But a lot of folks in this area and in the world that I grew up in, we have forgotten. But we all have that somewhere in our lineage, people who have been in relationship with the earth and who have been, understanding that we are dependent on the water and the soil and the sun and the air. And we're dependent on each other as humans. And with the more than human world, all the animals and plants and everything here is we need each other and we are dependent upon each other. So to remember that and to live in relationship and in connection.
The unique self framework is actually what it's inviting us to remember, as you use that phrase, is who we really are is connected with all things. But we don't just stop there. It's not just we're one with all things, kind of let go of yourself and let go of your story and let go of your needs and desires, and it's all ego and all that. It's actually when we reconnect with our essential intrinsic connectedness, right? That you're talking about and helping people to do in nature, ecotherapy or eco-spirituality, then we can tap into the unique desires and the unique perspective and the unique capacities that emerge from that connection.
Finding your purpose or kind of learning about yourself and how your unique gifts, your life experience can be a part of this much greater story in terms of the human community and just the story of nature and life on Earth, to see ourselves within that context, and that our work, our purpose, our efforts can be aligned with life.
In unique self, we call it true self. It's the connection to all that is. And then we move to, once we find our essential connectedness, what is my deepest heart's desire? What is my unique set of gifts? And what is needed around me?
In a sort of eco-spiritual lens, this sort of listening to our heart's deepest desire, that the heart would be not just ours, right? The heart is sort of like the heart of the earth, of the cosmos, of humanity, of our kin. Could be listening to the heart of the trees or of the the animals and what they might be needing. And I think that's really good for us as sort of egocentric humans, especially in the kind of Western world, this sort of tendency to be very individualistic and use things in the way we want to for our purposes without thinking about the implications of that. So to actually listen, because when you love someone, you listen to them. So when you love nature, when you love each other, you're going to listen deeply, and you have the sense of self is much bigger. It's like we're not just one person, we're connected to something much bigger. So our heart is really big.
In a certain sense, not only are we at the deepest realization, we're one with all of nature, all of reality, we're also connected to past and future generations, right? And in a very, it's a mystical kind of realization, but it's real. And we talk about ancestors kind of paving the way and sort of cheering us on in whatever way they do. And we also can think of those that come after us actually kind of praying to us, like, bring, create a world that we can thrive in. Like, we need you to keep this thing going, but not just keep it going, but to continue the evolutionary process so we can come into the world and really thrive and know that we are connected, right?
Mhm.
And we are loved and we have dignity.
I do think it's still important to ask ourselves, especially in this highly individualistic, consumeristic culture, like, what is mine to give? How can I be of service to my community and to our world? Because we need it, like we need it more than ever. We need everybody to be as alive and as grounded and as connected and as nourished as possible, so that we can all do our part to, you know, to save each other, to save the earth in a way, like to preserve life, to survive, to continue the human legacy. Like, we really need each other.
Another feature of this modern separate self kind of world that we're living in that we talked about at the beginning is this sense of like the mind is reified as like the only thing that makes any sense and matters, and rational, being rational, and um, goal oriented, right? Sort of like the mind is it's mind over body. We hear that all the time. It's like mind over matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. And what I think what you're suggesting and what I'm inviting also is this sense of actually re-engaging the body,
Mm-hmm.
not as separate from the mind, but actually is just engaging it with the mind and with the entire being. Because ultimately none of it's separate. It's all interwoven. The mind, heart, body, soul, the whole thing, right, is all interwoven.